All right, John, the players, the forwards just went through the presentation. Actually very interesting to hear some things you were talking about and Kevin and Dean were talking about. But let's first start with your portion of the program. And it seemed to me it was all about how to score now in the NHL and try to get ingrained in these players' heads. Like, you might play one style in junior, but that's not the style in the NHL.
Right. Well, yeah, these guys all come from different backgrounds and different type of teams and different systems. But what we're trying to get accomplished this week is let them know what's working in the NHL and what the NHL looks like, because they don't get a chance to see the NHL as much as you think. They've got games, they've got travel schedules, and what we can do here is introduce them a little bit to what works, and from our experience, share it with them, saying this is what it looks like in the NHL, and this is what I think you've got to begin to do to score goals. It's not like youth hockey in the old days where it was just all rush chances and power play, and that's how you made your money. You know, you got most goals are scored from around the net in the paint.
You know, with seeing that, obviously, you know, guys like Nathan Gerby, Tim Kennedy here, they played in Portland last year, saw some time with the Sabres, so you know, they got a sense of it, and they'll continue to work on that. I'm thinking like a guy, just example, Paul Byron or Tyler Ennis, who likely will be back with the junior teams unless they're able to make it to Portland. Do you, when you're evaluating those players in pro scouting, and you look at what they're doing, and obviously style might be different, is there pushback? I mean, is there, what I see is a conflict with that player saying, okay, I want to do what you know, Jon Christiano and the Sabres told me in development camp so I can make it to the NHL, but they also want to have success in the style of play in junior.
Yeah, well, you know, Paul and Tyler both are we're expecting them to be in Portland this year, because they're pretty well done with their junior, except for an overage experience. But we're counting on them to be in Portland. So again, I don't think we run into the fact where they say, well, in junior I can cheat, you know, but once I get up to the American League, I have to pay more attention to detail. Part of our role this week is to let them know that it's a difficult road, that this is really what is happening in the pro leagues, the American League and the NHL, and that hopefully, if they're not doing it, they can begin to make those adjustments in their game.
Now, will this be translated into the ice sessions today, where what you went over and say, okay, we talked about throwing the puck to the other side of the rink to get the cycle, so you work on those things?
We're going to be doing a lot of down-low sort of situations today, trying to score with the puck down low, as opposed to yesterday. It was a rush day, you know, where it seemed like they were just going back and forth, up and down the ice. Today, it's good. You probably won't hurt your neck watching things go. You can keep watching just in the corners and down around the net, because that's pretty well what should be happening in practice.
Now, you know, this week, this development camp, it's about instruction, it's about getting these guys acclimated to what's going to work in the NHL, but it's also about evaluation too, right? I mean, because as you're teaching, you can also tell, okay, who's a little bit further ahead. As you were saying, every guy's got a level. Kevin Deneen also said every guy's got a level. It's just natural.
That's right. You know, it's been 12 years since I came back to Buffalo, and at first in a coaching role, you're worried more about their development and them getting better. But now in a scouting role, I'm quite interested in making evaluations and getting more input in the bank of how I perceive these players to be and what they've got to work on, but how far they've got to come to be a pro player. Because down the road, there might be a question asked to myself saying, John, do you think this guy can play in Portland? And you've got to have you've got to be right.
Kevin Deneen, to have him as a resource, not only as a coach in Poland, but here to speak to these guys. Here's a guy who played 19 years in the NHL, and it wasn't just an average career. I think he's pretty humble about his career, and he stood up at the end and said, well, guys, I want you to know this is one of the all-time solid forwards in the NHL to play. But did you notice you know, the guys really, at least I did, them really paying attention to what he had to say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, anytime you get a chance to hear somebody with that amount of experience on both sides, the playing side, being raised by a hockey dad, coaching, player development size, I mean, the whole package is there. Kevin's an unbelievable resource, and our young players are very fortunate to play for him and Eric Weinrich. And I've heard some of their comments about playing for both those guys, and they've all been positive because these guys have over 2,000 games of experience, and what better place to learn than from a couple of guys that have been there and done that. So I think the respect factor is there. And the team last year in Portland played like they respected their coach a ton. You can just tell how by watching them on the ice, how diligent they were and how receptive to detail they were also, and that they're buying into the coaching, I believe.
And John, final thing for now, obviously it's about instruction, development, evaluation, but do you see things intensifying? We're talking on Tuesday morning here. As the week goes along, do you think it'll intensify out there on the ice?
Oh yeah. We've planned it where we're going to kind of ease into things a little bit. Today will be a little bit more difficult than yesterday. Tomorrow will be more difficult than today. Thursday we've got a practice and a scrimmage, and Friday the scrimmage. But we've done this on purpose where we're going to build in and also to limit injuries. That was something that last year guys were complaining of injuries a little bit, and Timmy Macri had a full day of work each day last year. You'll see a little bit more battling day 3 and day 4 for sure.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing with us and the fans some insight here on what it takes to score in the NHL.
Hope you enjoyed it.